one of the first scenes that I had to build out in terms of sound design was after Neo takes the red pill with Morpheus. They have to connect him to his body in the pod of red goo in the power plant. So they had to use technology to track where his body was. And one of the aesthetic rules in the movie was that humans had no factories to manufacture anything they needed from scratch. They couldn't do it. They all lived, close to the center of the earth. So all of the technology they used had to be cobbled together from spare parts they could gather up or debris left over from their wars with the machines. And this scene was one of the many things the scene is doing, is establishing that feel, that look, the sort of steampunk, deflated steampunk look of all of this equipment. So we wanted the phone system stuff to be extremely antiquated and very futuristic at the same time. I went about it looking for elements, like there's the click. That really did used to be the sound of when you picked up a phone. And then you'd hear a dial tone, waiting for you to do the rotary dial. And I added another dial tone that sort of beat against it. And then there was a sound that you would hear, at least in West LA, in the sound system in LA before it was a fully digital system. It was just a pinging sound that worked quite well as a sonar sound in a big underwater movie years before. But in this case, I'm using it for an actual phone system to kind of say, this is not your grandmother's phone system, even though it kind of looks like it. And that sound was this. Oops, was this. And then there's a phone dial-up connection sound that was, I just built out of a lot of repeating segments, but then I used a really, really ancient tool called a ring modulator to give it some motion. Which really gave us a sense of going somewhere. And then once the phone starts dialing, I used a touch tone phone in speed dial. But I wanted to put a whole lot of information, like an entire number and then some, into each number, because in the phone system then one push on a touchtone button would be a 3 or a 6. But I wanted each number to have this sort of encoded multitude of information in it. So I turned that into this. So every time it's dialing with the rotary, you're also getting that sound. Then I added a couple of other analog phone sounds. This is something you would hear from your phone, I think probably in the 40s, possibly into the 50s. And that's like a 50s dialing tone. So then we put them all together. And then Kansas goes bye-bye. And all of this story being told with the sound effects, the subtext of it about the access to technology and all that, it's all happening in the background of the real story, which is that Neo is sitting there going, what is happening to me? What, is this real? Isn't it real? Where am I going? What is this all about? So you literally hear these sounds off screen as his brain is trying to keep up with all of this. Of course, he has no idea what's about to happen to him.